Hello, welcome to the Roy Rogers News Channel. Thank you for watching. And in my studio today, I have a special guest. His name is NikhilR. Would you like to say hello?
Hi guys.
Hey, yeah. Um, NikhilR has won the Firo's Bird Nest tournament, and he has won several other tournaments before. And you know, I wanted to get some insight from Nick. So I have a few questions lined up for you. So are you ready, Nick, for the
Yeah,
questions? Great.
yeah, sure.
So I'm gonna ask the first question. How were you introduced to Pokemon?
Well, when I was in college, me and my one of my roommates were actually quite close, and and when we started communicating with each other, we finally found out that we both like Pokemon and we both play the GBA games. And I guess we both wanted to prove to each other, who the better trainer was, like by battling each other. So with the normal GBA games that were out there, it was impossible to do that. So somehow he stumbled on one, and then he introduced me to it. And then once college got over, I started playing this, and ever since then, I've been hooked onto it.
Great, great. And speaking about that, uh, how did you become a great battler in comp, though? I mean, so since you said at the time competitive play wasn't really established, well, whenever you were introduced, how did you hone up your competitive skills?
Well, first it started off with me befriending one of the guys in MMO, and he used to keep sending me duel requests. And every time I used to get my ass kicked, and I could never figure out why exactly. So this sort of basically forced me to read up on a lot of things regarding competitive play, like what exactly are natures, what are IVs, then trying to learn what the base stats are, and basically that just gave me the basic information on each Pokemon's role. But when it comes to making decisions while battling, that only basically comes through experience. The more you play, the more you learn. And I guess that was basically what I learned mostly when I was at Optics. Then when I joined Lyle, there was a lot more useful information I learned, like how to properly EV your Pokemon, what are the necessary speed tires, and then things like what if a Pokemon switches out before the other, then that means that Pokemon is faster. Small things like that, which are actually extremely important. So when you factor in everything, those are what makes a good player.
Great, great. Yeah, so speaking about that, um, how long did it take for you to hone up your skills? I mean, you're telling me about you switch from team to team, and I mean, some of my viewers may ask like how long did it take for you to truly understand the art of competitive play?
Well, it's something actually you keep learning because the meta changes. But I guess it took me around 3 to 4 months to exactly get decently good, to actually make it past round one in officials. Because that was when because I started at around 2013, and at that time I guess we had a lot of good players back then, so the competition was pretty good. So I guess getting past round one was sort of a big deal for me. So naturally I just kept working at it, and then I got past round two, and so on, and then finally I got my first official win.
Great. Uh, yeah, that's nice. Um, and also another thing is that as a I'm also trying to be competitive too. So, you know, I've been trying to learn that the art of competitive play for 2 years now. Yeah, 2 years, and I'm still learning, just like you. I'm still learning.
We
Uh,
always are.
yeah. Um, and just recently, the developers threw in Johto starters and Milotic, and yeah, some people are still learning about how to use Milotic and the Johto starters, and yeah. Speaking about competitive Pokemon, I see that you play all the tiers. But do you have a favorite tier of yours? Do you have a favorite tier do you like playing OU or UU or NU? What's your favorite tier?
It basically changes quite often. Right now, I guess one of my favorite tiers is plays doubles because it's a tier that you're not actually quite restricted when it comes to team building. You can basically run sort of anything you want, and almost all strategies are viable. So I guess it's you can keep coming up with new ideas. But whereas in OU, UU, and NU, you're basically restricted from using certain Pokemon because of what the opponent might have. So so because of that, I guess those main three tiers aren't exactly one of my favorite. I also love Clefairy Cup because who doesn't love RNG tiers?
Yeah. Do you also, by the way, no, this is not in the script, but I'm going to ask you this. Do you like the metronome tournaments? Because you say that you like Clefairy tournaments. Do you like the metronome as well?
Yeah, usually I like them, but I always get but I haven't won any of the officials. So far, I guess Aura is always the best at those kind of tournaments. Little Cup, Metronome, they those guys just dominate those ones. So hopefully the next one I'll stand a chance.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm sure your friend Forfeiter would try to make the team work a little harder on that. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I'm expecting maximum participation from them. So I guess they're my competition for the next one.
Yeah. Um, and I guess this also speaking on Forfeiter, this also kind of stuns my viewers the fact that the two people from completely um, competitive teams are really good friends, and you're good friends with my team leader, Forfeiter. So I'd like to ask, how did you establish that relationship? I mean, a lot of people are curious about that.
Well, I guess it started off with me wanting to buy a Porygon 2 from his shop. And at that time, the economy was dying, so everyone was preferring yen. But unfortunately, I didn't have any to offer, and he accepted the price for his Porygon 2 in terms of one egg. So I guess since then we've always been close, and he and I used to play these daily tournaments called Poke Daily. So that way we got to know each other. We used to talk to each other, and when I was battling, also he and I used to we used to help each other out. So I guess since then we've always been close, and we've always talked about our personal lives, and it's like that. It's kept building on, and he's one of the coolest guys on here, and yeah. If anyone asks me one of the things that I'd like to take away from MMO, it's definitely my friendship with him.
There's, yeah, he's a really nice guy, and he's a really helpful guy too because he also made the guide for the alt runs, which I'm planning to use in my Roy Rogers walkthrough network. So thank you so much, Forfeiter, for giving me the material to work with. Um, but yeah, Forfeiter has been really helpful in the guide department, and
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, and he's a helpful guy in general. If you ask him a question, he'll answer it. Um, so now some people were asking some questions, and now I'm gonna read off the names and the questions. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, this question we're gonna start off with Node. So this question came from Node. Did you choose False Swipe as one of the prize moves for your Firo?
Okay, hi Node. No, I didn't choose false swipe because it totally slipped my mind. I wasn't exactly aware that I got it. So like when I first like I was only aware of basically Fear getting payday as one of the egg moves, so I definitely chose that. So unfortunately, I didn't get to choose false swipe. Forgive me for that, please.
Uh, yeah, um, I think I think Node will forgive you this time, but if it's a skitty, you better have a good move set on that. If it's
Yeah, I'll definitely consult her on that.
Yeah, just for some advice. Yeah. Um, my my second question comes from Abdu Ou. His question is, what is your first Pokemon game and which platform?
Hi Abdul. I think it was Pokemon Blue, the GB version, the one with I think it's Blastoise in the cover. I was pretty hooked onto that when it first came out, and actually it wasn't even mine; it was my friend's. So every time he kept asking me to return it, I kept postponing it for a week, saying that I lost his cartridge. I just need to search my house for it. So that way, I got down to play for it longer. But yeah, it was a fun time.
Oh, all right. Interesting story. Um, and speaking of Pokemon, what is your favorite Pokemon? I mean, if you had to choose a mascot Pokemon, what would it be?
Okay, this is a hard one. Well, I mean, I guess I like Lucario, but in MMO, I think you can say Kingdra and Dragonite are one of my favorites.
Well, don't take Kingdra. That's mine.
Okay, I'm sorry, BF. I didn't know Kingdra was taken.
uh,
Okay.
yeah, no problem. Yeah. So, and then these two questions are asked by Overtoasted. Are you ready to answer those questions?
Yeah, I want to see what he has to say. I mean, ask basically.
Oh, all right. Question number one. Why are you not my friend?
Okay, dude, we're Asians. Okay, we are friends by blood, so we don't actually have to be friends in game to be officially that.
Yeah. All right. Um, and the second question is, how much do you love Snorlax in the OU game?
Okay, Toast, I hate you for asking that question. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, all right. And then there are two questions from GB Weed, um, and this is an exact quote from him. Are you ready for to hear this quote?
Yes, I am.
Question number one. As one of the very first Bellossom users in NU, what would happen to flower power if Magnum uh, was ever to fall by usage to NU?
Okay, I guess this is a pretty hard one. Well, I mean, flower power, I guess its viability will sort of decrease, but I don't think Meganium gets sludge bomb. So probably what I do is I'd run both. Meganium as my cleric and flower power for the usual stuff like switching onto acting as a death wall. Mm, Other than that, I've been actually thinking of maybe running a Swords Dance set with Bellossom, so hopefully that works out too. So I don't think I'm going to stop using flower power for that. I'll just run both of them.
Oh, great! And second question from GB Weed is uh, if sorry quote in all of Pokemon history, what was the best update in your opinion? And GB Weed wants me to clarify that it's updates like IVs being confirmed, matchmaking, new breeding, adjusting brace prices, GTL, etc. What is your favorite update so far in your Pokemon history?
Uh, okay, I guess there have been three updates that I've actually liked. First was when we had that 2004 breeding system where you could basically breed multiples of every Pokemon. And I think at that same time we also had the scaling system where you could use Pokemon that were above level 50 in tournament mode as well. Then there was the one where we had the introduction of the GTL. I mean, GTL has basically been a godsend to everyone when it comes to breeding because we can find the breeders for cheap. And also, I guess snipe a lot of good stuff. Yeah, I know a lot of assholes have become rich because of that. Uh, then there was also the confirmation of the IVs was also very helpful because when it comes to hidden power breeding, you definitely need that. And also the Lambda guy, who adjusts the hidden powers also is pretty useful. So I guess those were my favorite updates so far.
Great. And now two more questions are going to come from a person called Aftershocker. He's going to shock you with two questions.
Oh
Um,
shit, my teammate.
yeah. Here's the first question. Quote, as a well-known player in MMO, do you ever feel pressured to perform well in tournaments? Close quote.
Well, always, but I guess the important thing is not to beat yourself up after whether you perform well or after you perform poor, because we like, for example, in the PSL, I basically had a 2-5 record, and that record basically doesn't speak of how good I am. Yeah, of course, I did have some bad luck, but still, it's not something that I'm proud of. So what I look at it this way is that I've basically done everything in this game to prove that I'm a good player. So I don't exactly have to do more. I mean, everyone will recognize me as one of the best to ever play this game, and so
Especially after
if
this
there's
interview.
exactly after this interview, I'm gonna get more fans. So don't. So yes, there's always a certain pressure to perform well because you try to meet everyone's expectations. So I guess at the end of the day, even though the result is important, it's about how you play. So just make sure you do, and if you do choke, learn from it, right, Joey?
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. You learn from your mistakes and stuff. Um, yeah. And Aftershocker asks a second question, and I think this is more of a Lyle joke, but I think this should still be asked from
Sure.
Aftershocker. Uh, you're gonna let K keep winning? That's from Aftershocker.
Okay. Wow. Okay. He cut me really deep with that question. But okay. No. I'm just waiting for. I've been sort of going easy on K because I thought if I won against him, then that would probably traumatize him for the rest of his MMO life, and that would probably end his career. And I like having him around, so because of that, I've been letting him win. But now I just see he's being an asshole about it. So no, I'm not gonna let him win the next time for sure.
Oh, all right. So yeah. Um, and then these last two questions come from the MDVN leader, ex Sparky, which some of y'all may recognize as being an ex staff member. So, yeah. Um, Here's the first question from ex Sparky. All right. Quote, Sparky would like to know, why are you so handsome? And yes, this is relevant according to him.
Okay, I guess it's part of the Indian genes, man. I think you're Indian as well, Sparky. So, I guess that applies to you as well. It's something we don't choose. It's something that we're gifted with, You just got to use it, right?
Yeah. Um, and the second question is from ex Sparky. How do you feel about going into the finals? What was going through his mind, and how comfortable were you with the team you brought? The finals in the Firo's Bird Nest match. How did you feel about that team? And actually, while we're speaking, I'm gonna spectate the Firo's bird nest while you're speaking about that, just to make it.
Uh, okay, so well, how about we both spectate at the same time, best friends, so that, we are in sync? Is that okay with you? Did you start?
Yep, I did.
Okay, wait, I'll also start. 1 second. Okay, so first thing about my mindset in the finals. I guess firstly, you have to be very comfortable with the team you bring with because I prefer not exactly counter team my opponent entirely. It's better to have a strategy in mind or something that you want to pull off, like maybe a certain setup sweeper that you want to sweep it. So if you're comfortable with your team, that actually takes your mind off a lot. And then when once you start to see more of the opponent's team, you continuously your mindset changes a bit because if you have the worst matchup, you need to rely on making certain plays in order to have the better hand or the upper hand, basically. So when I looked at Eloquence's team so far, like right now, I'm seeing Blossom, and all right, I have a perfectly good switch in Blossom with Victory Bell, and then now I see Shuckle. All right, so that's two incredibly passive Pokemon. That's definitely nothing offensive, and I have a Wish Raichu in my team to continuously provide me with health. So therefore, I know that Blossom and Shackle are definitely not gonna give me any problems. So and one thing I guess that you definitely need in NU is either a cleric or a toxic absorber, and Victory Bell and Mobile play a good role in yeah, as those two. So right now, I guess I'm using growth with the Shackle. And now let's watch the plays with best friends.
Yeah. And speaking about Victory Bell, I noticed that in my competitive commentary, and that this has kind of baffled me a little bit, but I noticed that you didn't go for two growths consecutively. I noticed that you only did one growth for Victory Bell. How come you didn't want to do a second growth um, at turn
Uh,
number?
because because I guess I wasn't sure whether he'd switch out or not, and I sort of been thinking I'd get as much damage in as possible. But I, I look at it this way. I mean, even if I didn't go for the second growth, it's not exactly that big of a deal because no matter what happens, he eventually does still have his Scyther to switch on to Giga Drain and force me out. So it's not like I would have swept that very turn. So yeah, I mean, maybe I should have done a second growth, but overall, it didn't have a big effect in the larger picture.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that was just something I was personally very skeptical of during my competitive commentary. So that's I figured I'll let you go on the record on that turn. So I just
Yeah,
want
I get it. Like when everyone's expecting a match, they probably have different expectations or different opinions of what every player should have done. So yeah, I mean it's good to hear more than one perspective.
sure. Yeah, no problem. Um, I'm gonna X out of this of the match, because I'm done asking about the match, and now it's time to kind of relate to you a little bit. I'm gonna ask a little bit about you personally. Actually, two questions in particular. Um, like I said, so say people can relate to you, and and
Sure, sure.
yeah. Question number one: what is your major in college?
Well, I basically did engineering. The exact field is electronics and communication. It's I could say that I was basically interested when I was studying in 12th grade. That is my final year in high school, because we had a chapter on communications, and I sort of found that quite interesting. But what I learned in college was basically sort of exactly different, and it sort of strayed away from what I was exactly interested in. So because of that, I've decided not exactly continue with it, but while still maintaining the knowledge that I have. And then I decided to go for law because I find that is something that is more suitable for me. And I guess having a background in science is always definitely helpful, because everyone needs a lawyer who's definitely got some technical skills. So I guess that's one place that I'd be good at.
Great. Yeah, and I guess you kind of answered it, but question number two says, what career path do you plan on taking? Like what's going to be the name of your career? Are you going for lawyer, or like a clerk for a court, or what sort of job are you targeting in particular?
Well, definitely a lawyer, one who performs in court. But I mean, I'm yet to go to law school, and I think, and there's a lot that I'm still yet to learn. So I know that once I consult some of the people there, the officials at law school that I go to, then I get a better idea of what exactly happens. And of course, I have Gantag over here who always feeds me relevant information on, what's happening, and he's my go-to guy whenever I have any sort of questions. So thanks to him, I've actually decided on a career actually, and I'm quite grateful to him for that.
Great. Great. And I guess, and I'm going to add a third question here to my script, but what what sort of specialty as a lawyer are you going to specialize in? Are you going to specialize in family court? Are you going to specialize in copyright court? What sort of specialty are you going into as a lawyer?
That's that's exactly the situation I'm in right now. I haven't exactly decided because there's sort of a lot of things I'm interested in. For example, I'm interested in the financial part. Then there's a bit on contract law as well. Then there's also the patent law that I'm actually quite interested in, and that is exactly the sort of field where my technical skills would be in demand because having a background science would is definitely useful there. So I guess it depends on which of those sorts of lawyers is exactly more in demand, and accordingly, I'll probably choose. So it's definitely between those a few options. So I'll get a better idea once I go to US and talk to people over there.
Great. Yeah, and the reason why I asked what specialty you're going into is because on a personal note, my one of my family members is a lawyer, so that's why I asked that question. So yeah. Um. Anyways,
What kind
sorry.
of lawyer is he?
Copyright lawyer. Uh, he
Oh, okay.
he goes after people who violate copyrights.
Right, right, right.
Um.
Well, I hope he's enjoying his job.
I hope so too. And on that note, I think we pretty much established most of the most of people's curiosities. But do you want to add anything before I sign off here?
Well, I guess I just want to say thanks to everyone. I've basically been a part of the community for 3 years, and it's been a pleasure having being with everyone because it's exactly one of the reasons why I'm sticking around. My Lyle family, especially, like all of them are great guys, and I am where I am because of them. And I guess the other thing is I want to say is that it's been also great being great part of the TA council and helping out wherever I can. I did get dismissed, and that was definitely for a fair enough reason. So I totally respect that decision. And lastly, I just want to say that if I mean, I'm only a human being, so I'm definitely not perfect. And I'm sure that during my time being at small, probably hurt someone or said something nasty to them. So I guess I'd like to apologize for that. It was definitely I didn't do it out of the intention of harming someone. So yeah, just forgive me for that. Other than that, yeah, I guess that's it. To be honest, I'm generally a very modest guy, but I can be an asshole. So yeah, I guess that's just enough to wrap things up.
All right. Anyways, this is the Roy Rogers News Channel. Don't forget to comment or subscribe to my channel. Like or dislike the content you see here. And Nick, if you want, you can look at the camera. If you want, you can instead of looking
Yeah,
at my helmet. I know it looks very looks. I know it looks very shiny, but I think there you go. Uh,
I'm looking at you, BF.
oh, all right. Anyways, this is the Roy Rogers News Channel. Don't forget to comment or subscribe to the channel, like or dislike the content that you see here. And this is the Roy Rogers News Channel signing off. Fast, accurate, unbiased Roy Rogers News.